Hello, hello, hello. FIFA Club World Cup podcast, episode 19. Last episode. Just finished the final. Wow. With myself, Gary Striker, as always, and my podcasting partner, show partner, the Qooligan, with his Crystal Palace shirt on. You're doing your best Doja Cat imitation by the looks of it as well, it seems as well.
Man,
Because,
let's get it straight. Doja Cat imitates me.
I did. I was
right
messaging
as of
you.
right now. I'm going on record. Doja Cat totally stole that shit from me.
She did. She was wearing a
Man,
Crystal
I was
Palace
wearing
shirt by the
tube
looks of it.
socks back when she was just come on. No, it's hey, at least Crystal Palace made it to a Club World Cup final.
They got representation.
One way or another, they got representation.
Indeed. So this will be our last episode of this particular show, the Club World Cup, Global Showdown. It's been a month, a whirlwind month of obviously sort of group stages, knockout phases, guests, shocks, results, surprise players, and surprise turn-ups as well.
And nothing more shocking than what happened today.
The final.
No. Okay, hold on. Nope. I maybe not nothing, but this was pretty.
It was surprising.
Pretty unexpected.
It was a surprising result. So, of course, just before we get into it as well, of course, guys, we have, obviously, if you want to read more about the Qooligans' ramblings and writings and analytical approach, hooligan-soccer.com. That's where we can find out a lot of, obviously, all of our sort of writing. There's going to be a lot of coverage, of course, of the Women's Euros that we are obviously going to be covering, and that's happening, going on right now at the moment. The USL, the MLS.
That's what I've got to watch next. Oh, my God.
The Premier League's going to be picking back up again in a few weeks as well. So, again, to get all of your global soccer, football news, hooligan-soccer.com, and get into it. So we've done all the plugs, all the promotions. This will be the last episode, Qooligan, before we get back into other programming. As the resident Chelsea fan, I will just sit here and just chug on my gin and tonic and appreciate the moment.
Listen, you have earned this moment. Well, I mean, you haven't earned it.
I was going to say,
your club has earned this moment, and I will allow for you to pontificate uninterrupted.
At the risk of sounding too smug, I was surprised. I have to say. I think we discussed this.
You did call on the last podcast. You did call your own team not winning this. You went on the record, said that PSG was going to win, but that Chelsea was going to need something exceptional and incredible, and PSG was going to need to have an off day. And I do believe those two conditions were met.
I agree. That did happen, yes.
But regardless of your predictions, how did it feel this is where I go into sports journalism mode. As a supporter, how did it feel? Because they always ask these stupid how do you feel questions. How did you feel watching your team completely eviscerate such a powerful and strong club?
And it really, but what's interesting is if you look at the statistics, just in terms of possession, shots, it was all PSG. They had it all, but it didn't, the scoreline. And as we always say, statistics can be deceptive. To answer your question directly, it felt when that first Cole Palmer shot happened, the one that nearly went in, and it looked like it went in. I was like, whoa, okay, is that, again, the pessimist, the sort of realist inside me was thinking, is that going to be the one and only shot that we're going to get? And then PSG is going to turn it on and turn up. And then Palmer with that classic trademark running in from the right, just passing the ball into the bottom corner. You're like, okay, wow, okay, this is a shock. Now we've just pissed off PSG. They're going to wake up and go for it. And then it happened again. And then João Pedro, and then he put João Pedro through, and he looked at it. I was watching it with my 8-year-old, and I was sort of just trying to sort of break down the analysis of what happened. And look, I do agree. I think PSG that was not the PSG that we've seen in so many of the previous games, Champions League finals, all the run up to it as well. They really were not on it. But Chelsea also, I will say, I know Maresca is not sort of the most popular manager amongst the Chelsea fans, but he really did show a tactical masterclass in terms of the way he set up Chelsea. I think the two things that I noticed is Pedro Neto sacrificed himself for the team and played as a wing back and was marking Hakimi. And you could see he was basically spent most of the time just covering Hakimi's runs. they realized that PSG seemed to be weak on the left-hand side. So Gusto was getting all the runs, and that's where all the attacks and all the action sort of happened from there. And then obviously having Reece James in midfield and Caicedo, who looked really, really sort of strong. And then Cole Palmer just turned up. He really did. He's been sort of off the boil for the last couple of months, but the last two games, all of a sudden he scored and sort of played really well. So how do I feel? It's kind of not sunk in yet. Again, I don't think it's going to be, it's not like winning the Champions League. It's not like winning a country winning the World Cup or a team winning the Premier League or the MLS or anything like that. So it's still a little bit new, I suppose, in a way. How serious is everyone going to take this sort of the respect of this trophy as well, because it is the inaugural one. But I do have to say it was magical to see those goals going in and just see Chelsea really did sort of get on top of PSG for sure.
And your tactical analysis is absolutely sound. You're spot on. And in fact, what was so eerie was just how similar those first and second goals were. I mean, they were almost literally carbon copies of each other, with one exception. The second goal came straight off the long ball into Palmer, and he maneuvered himself into that position. And the first one, it was actually Malo Gusto's shot that got blocked, and then Gusto put it right in on his foot, and he put it in. But from the positioning of where he took the shot, the style of shot, and the long ball leading up to it on that left side of PSG, on the right side of Chelsea, identical. I got goosebumps when I saw this on goal. I was like, ooh, did I just transport back in time? This is
this is crazy.
Like, no, and that pass, that weighted pass to João Pedro was, wow. I mean, that was one hell of a pass, but Pedro with that cheeky chip. I mean,
that's a clever finish.
Is big. He's a big man, and he absolutely figured, I'm going to go long. I'm going to go like low and wide. And he just dinked it. Wow.
Dinked it. And that was a smart finish from João Pedro. And I have to say, João Pedro's second game now, 3 goals in 2 games. He does look good. I do like him a lot. You can still see there's a little bit of rawness, but his link-up play and his hold-up play was really good as well. He was strong. He was happy to throw himself about and hold up the play as well. And the other call-out I've got to say is the big surprise for me, Roberto Sanchez. Who the hell was that goalkeeper? Because
nobody. I mean, somebody should check to make sure that it's really him under that skin, because.
Oh my God! It was
he made one fumble. He made one fumble in the game, but even then, that didn't matter so much. That wasn't that didn't impact. That was the only mistake that he made, and he kept them, because the scoreline could have very easily been 3-2. Easily could have been 3-2, because he had 2 gigantic stops. One with that left hand, one diving, I believe, with the right. But I mean, and it goes to show we've been talking about this the whole time. Goalkeepers make a difference.
They do.
Right. Now, whether or not this solves the, quote, crisis of Chelsea's keeping scenario, I don't know, because I actually have notes as I watch these games. I take notes. And one of the things I wrote was, how long will all this goodwill towards Sanchez last? ... until his next fumble.
Right?
And until his next blunder. I said, and then everybody will forget. And everybody will raise the stuff about Sanchez can't do this, can't do that, And not only was he doing it on the defense, he was building out play. Some of his long passes directly led
to the goals.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was. You could have given him a player of the match. You could have given him, and I think he was just as deserving as Cole Palmer was, in my opinion. I do have to ask a question, though, and we're going to kind of jump all over the place, but do you really think that Cole Palmer deserved player of the tournament?
I think it's kind of awkward in a way to ask who players are to sort of hang around for an extra week or so, saying, look, you got to the quarters, you got to the semis, we think you deserve it. It depends, right? So generally it's always someone who's won it as well. And again, also Sanchez getting goalkeeper of the tournament, because he didn't get the most clean sheets as well. I believe it was Donnarumma, in fact, actually, who maybe had the most clean sheets in terms of that. So, but it's part of the occasion and have to do that. No, I don't think he necessarily got player of the tournament, but player of the match, absolutely. He
did get player of the tournament. He won the golden ball. Yeah, so didn't get the golden boot. That actually went to young little Gonzalo Garcia.
Garcia, wasn't it, for Real Madrid? But
Yes.
if Palmer had got his third goal and got the hat trick, he would have won it because of the
He would have,
assists as
because
well,
then he
right?
would have
Yes.
he would have pipped him on the
Yeah.
number of assists, because
Yeah.
Palmer also had 2 assists. So I mean, let's think about it. 3 goals, 2 assists.
2 assists, yeah.
In a 6-game stretch over a tournament like this, that's some fine work. That's some fine work. I mean, it deserves credit. It deserves credit.
Doué getting young player of the tournament, and I'm not saying Doué is not a good young player. I don't think he was the best young player. But again, they have to give it to sort of one of the two.
They got to give it to somebody who's there.
They got to give it to somebody who's there. Otherwise, Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino would have looked a little bit silly, sort of saying, "Hey, Esteban is here?"
Another question for you as a fan: Have you ever seen a head of state refuse to leave the stage for the trophy lift?
This is so fun. I've got a WhatsApp group with my Chelsea boys and the banter as well. And we're like, what the hell? He was there. He was the lifting of the trophy and he was right there.
Literally, Reece James is going.
And then Infantino.
Do I really have to do this with him next to me?
There's someone just sent me a video, and I've got a video, and I don't know how weird it would be to show it, but basically it's Donald Trump in sort of like 1992 or something like that, doing the FA Cup draw. I don't know if I can sort of show it here as well. You can see where they do the draw for the FA Cup and they sort of see who's doing it. And you've got Donald Trump doing the draw there as well in the 90s. And it's like, this guy is everywhere. This guy has a knack of just being everywhere, doesn't he? Anyway, but I agree with you. It was a little bit funny, Trump there, and Vecino had to pull him back and be like, it's time to exit stage left. Yeah, it's not a U-turn, right? Yeah.
And I mean, the poor television producers had an absolute nightmare adjusting the audio on the stage, because the booing was so
the New Yorkers were going for it. Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't. I'm sorry, this wasn't just New Yorkers. Everybody, I think, was doing this.
As I say, the Chelsea boys on the banter as well. Like, I can't believe Trump is going to have to give Reece James the trophy. But anyway, it happened. World champions. It was wonderful. And then the other thing I will say also as well, which is interesting, is Enzo Fernandez, double world champion, won the World Cup with Argentina,
that's true,
and now the Club World Cup as well. So, and he won Young Player of the Tournament for the World Cup as well. So it was wonderful to see that. So, but yeah, I do think PSG did look off their game a little bit today. The defending was a little bit soft. There was a bit too easy for Chelsea just to run into the space. Palmer just walking through the central center of the box there and tapping those in probably did make it a bit easier, and they didn't do themselves any favors. Speaking of not doing themselves any favors,
they clearly missed Pacho, right?
Pacho,
I think he and I'm going to come out and say it right here. Liam Delap is an idiot. Because if he doesn't get that, I mean, so he's an idiot for his own personal career. For Chelsea, he's the best thing that ever happened, because it was his mouthiness that got him a yellow card, which then forced João Pedro into the position where he's able to go in and make and become essentially their new number 9. But he killed his career in the process. His career is now.
I wouldn't say career.
Hey, allow me my drama. Allow me my drama.
The hyperbole is flowing. Yes.
Allow me the hyperbole. I will say this. Wow, was he excellent in the few minutes that he was on that pitch. He looks really looked the part. Yep. Mm-hmm. He had 2 shots on frame, both of which were outstanding saves by Donnarumma. He could have made it a 5-0 absolute embarrassment. I mean, it was an embarrassment as it is, but it would have been made even worse if Liam Delap comes on and hits 1 or 2 of those goals. He really looked the business. And I think that while I mentioned that he killed his career, he did give it a nice little revival. No CPR on that career, because between the 2 of them, yikers, watch out.
Well, and Nicholas Jackson didn't even feature. Thank goodness.
Jackson,
goodness.
You're out. Sorry, buddy.
And he's third choice striker as well. And all of a sudden you can see and again, as we mentioned, Chelsea I don't want to turn necessarily into a complete Chelsea podcast, but they're just going to keep rotating through players until they find the right combination. And it looks like Todd Boehly looks like an absolute genius right now, doesn't he? Right? He's
no, he doesn't. I'm sorry.
Champions League.
That is completely and utterly not true. That is completely and utterly not true. All he does is write the checks. He is. I mean,
Well,
come on.
yeah,
Don't give him that credit. Don't give him
they've
that credit.
they've spent their way through it. Look, I still not necessarily haven't agreed with the approach, but the results have started to come through. Champions League football now, so it is. And Jackson, I think he should probably be exit stage left with Donald Trump as well. The way Infantino pulled him away, and I think that would probably be a wise move for his career as well. Speaking of wise career moves, the little bit of afters that happened as well with Luis Enrique and Donnarumma going at João Pedro as well. Not the most. Look, it's easy when you're winning, guys, and it's easy when you're steamrolling teams 4-0. But then when you're on the receiving end of it, again, Cucurella with the shithousery once again going into.
Listen, and
you know
and
what
that
he is.
Was. Of course, you do, and even to be fair, I thought he was actually relatively restrained by his normal standards. João Neves clearly pulled his hair, and I mean, there's no love lost between João Neves' Portuguese ancestry and Cucurella's Spanish ancestry. You know that there was a little bit of that coming in because they're going at each other in whatever local lingos, and using whatever. Spicy language they can employ.
Latin swear words they can't. Yes, exactly.
Sure, but at the same time, it is an interesting. I thought it was sad. I was disappointed to see. I mean, there's a certain part of me that says, "Good, at least it meant something." Right. So there's a certain element in my mind that goes, "I'm glad they cared enough to show that passion and that fire," but I didn't think that it was the right way to do it. And I'm sure there's going to be some ramifications coming down the line. Someone will issue a fine or do something, or
get a slap on the wrist as well, and they get told not to do it as well. I did have your words in mind because I remember in a previous episode that we've done where you've talked about it from your refereeing perspective, which is it is not the agitator who is the one that gets punished. Never. It is the reactor, right? And again, that's what it is, right? It's always the one. And Cucurella ran into him and gave him a little bit of a shoulder, of course. And look, it's easy to say don't react to it, but when you're 3-0 down, it's 100 degrees and you're losing, and all of a sudden you're getting humiliated.
You're gonna react.
You're gonna react.
And what are you gonna do? You're gonna react to the one thing that is always in your face, and that's that big shaggy mop head.
And you want to pull it,
which is annoying as all hell. Because I mean, how do you not pull that? I'm like, dude.
I
wouldn't last 5 minutes in a game with him. I'd have a tuft of that hair in my hand, trying to hide it somewhere. Referees coming up to me. I'm like, hey, I don't. Yeah. What is this on my hand? I don't know. What?
Yeah, it is definitely. I can understand if you're not a Chelsea fan, he would annoy the living hell out of me. But as a Chelsea fan,
I hate that guy. I hate him. But if he was on my team, I'd love him.
He's good. Yeah, he's very good for that. And then you could see Delap as well started getting in the face, even came straight away. Delap as well. He was, again, remember, that's how he got suspended, was also just sort of for mouthing off and getting into that. That's his style.
Well, that time he was doing it, but he was doing it. He was doing it the referee there. This time he was just doing it between the players. Yeah, no, it is the game. It is all part of the game, right? The big beautiful. It's the ugly side of the big beautiful game.
Exactly. So it's over. So yeah. So of course, PSG running up. We'll see what sort of ramifications there are as well. So just looking back now overall on the tournament, you had some wonderful statistical analysis on goalkeepers, defenders, and then obviously attacking players.
I have another one that's in the can that I'm working on right now called the creators.
The creators, which will be
the creators. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just to sort of go back to that, as we were saying, Donnarumma is leading the goalkeepers with most clean sheets, as you correctly pointed out here, with 5. Obviously, that stayed at 5. Sanchez was on 2, so he's gone to 3. So and then Weverton, the Palmeiras goalkeeper, had 3 clean sheets. So did Fabio from Fluminense, I believe, as well. So it was hard to say that he would be.
I think it would. Let me put it to you this way. If there was ever going to be a chance that Donnarumma was going to walk off with the Golden Glove, he lost it as soon as that chicanery happened after the game.
Yeah.
As soon as he went in and shoved João Pedro in the face with his hand, somebody went, we can't give this guy. Can't give this guy a trophy.
FIFA had learned from 2-3 years ago with Emi Martinez when he was sort of put the trophy by his dick and he was thrusting. If you remember that when he won it last time, we can't have that again. These goalkeepers are crazy.
And Donnarumma is going to do something dumb. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So from a more macro perspective, sort of I know there's a lot of sort of, static around sort of, is this tournament, there's a nuance to this, isn't there, for me, which is, if your club is in this tournament, you're interested in, you're invested in it, and you're going to watch it. If you're a Barcelona fan, if you're a Liverpool fan, if you're an AC Milan fan, or any sort of other sort of, any other sort of team that is not there, I don't think you're as invested in it as well. So, but with that said, I do feel like it was a successful tournament, and it has kind of offset the idea of the preseason friendly, right? Because what's going to happen now, these teams, they're going to go on 3 weeks break. And normally what happens is, to go and generate sort of commercial revenues, they'll go to America, they'll go to Asia, these teams, they'll travel around and they'll do a preseason friendly to get up to speed. I think Chelsea, Chelsea, PSG, and sort of all the semi-final and quarter-finalists probably say, guys, scratch the preseason tour, just get back to the camp. Let's get fitness back up and running 3 weeks before the start of the season and get going.
Agreed.
So from your perspective, like, what would be your read on the sort of the overall sort of, learned successes from this tournament, particularly going into the World Cup?
I think it was a mixed bag tournament. It was bloated, right? You can't have a 32 team tournament and not have a couple of duds. We knew that was going to happen. I have to say, I thought that the overall quality on the pitch was good. Most of the games were at least exciting in certain aspects. I think the tournament would be better if FIFA wasn't running it. I hate to say it. I think FIFA shot themselves in the foot, and while their choice of venues for the semifinals, etc., seemed to be successful in that they packed out the venues and they filled it up. I mean, that's great. I mean, how hard is it to fill a venue on a Sunday in New York with lots of fans and two of the biggest clubs, right, in the globe? If you can't sell out that stadium, you've got yourself a much bigger problem. But they should have been able to do better with stadiums and some of these smaller venues had they just listened to some of their local,
And to be fair, though, again, not trying to sort of just trying to sort of take the sort of the objective perspective here, which is, again, this tournament is the precursor and the learns for FIFA going into next year's World Cup as well. So I'm sure there are going to be learns about there and lessons about ticket pricing.
I don't think FIFA does a good job with the World Cups either. I will go on record and state that as well. I think that if they were to give up some of that stuff, it would be better. Sorry, I just don't think they're very good at it. And I think that for all the successes that they had here, hopefully they will take some of the lessons that they learned. Unfortunately, the biggest lesson, which is don't do a tournament in the United States in summertime on the Eastern Seaboard. They're not going to, that die is cast. They can't fix that.
Yeah, that's happening. That's
what they're going to do, though, is when they can't even fix the venues. So that's all fixed too. They've already done all their venues. That's all contracted in. They can't get out of that. So no,
it's going to be worse. They've got like two venues in Texas as well in July as well. I mean, I think they've got Houston and Dallas as sort of two venues, and
and I'm not sure they're the indoor venues. That's right.
No, they're absolutely not.
Toyota's not indoors, right?
No, they're not indoor venues. So
and it's even bigger. And that's right. It's even bigger. It's 48 teams. So it is. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of ghost venues in that World Cup, and it's going to be even more obvious, sadly, because I think, all things aside, most of what I saw in this Club World Cup was very good, right? You got to see small clubs flexing a little bit. You got to see some of the local, you got to see these local supporters who really showed up and in some cases outperformed their teams on the field in the stands. Right? I'm thinking Urawa Red Diamonds. My God, they were amazing. Their orchestrated movements in the stands, everything about what they were doing was just phenomenal. What great stands there were. But no,
I thought
it didn't work out. And yet there were still too many empty seats and too many,
Yeah. One place that there were not empty seats, I felt, was the South American teams, particularly the River and the Boca fans. The Argentinian fans were fantastic. I had the fortune, as we know, if you've been following and listening, is to go to 2 Boca games in Fort Lauderdale. That, for me, that Boca Bayern game, although Boca lost, the atmosphere in that stadium at Hard Rock Stadium was memorable. It was definitely up there with one of the best atmospheres I've ever been to. It was fantastic. Having been to the Bombonera a couple of times in my days when I lived in Buenos Aires, it was kind of reminiscent of that. But for me, even better and more special. I thought what I really did appreciate is the styles of play from the South Americans, particularly the Brazilians and obviously the Argentinians. Those are the only two real countries that represent it from South America. But them to actually sort of go in and actually the Brazilian team to get quite deep in the competition as well, and sort of, with the
well, that was a good. I think that was a surprise, and I think it was a pleasant surprise. Argentinian teams didn't do as well.
No, they are way off the pace compared to the Brazilians. You could see the Brazilians are,
yes,
yeah, they are,
yes,
absolutely.
Completely well off the pace, and I was disappointed in the rather poor showing of the Asian Confederation outside of Al Hilal, and really to call Al Hilal, a true representation of Saudi football, I think is a misnomer. Yeah. They're not. They have a sizable number of Saudi players, but their style and everything that they do is very not in that vein. They tried. I think nobody ever. The good news is that nobody seemed to take this tournament lightly. Mm-hmm. Everybody was there seriously. Even, I'm going to give them a plug, my amateur side, Auckland City. Yeah. Right. I mean, let's not forget that more than half of that team had to take unpaid leave of absence from work.
Yeah.
To come and compete in this tournament. Right. They didn't get paid. Mm-hmm. They got nothing. They got a free ticket.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got some hotels. Yeah. They got some crappy food.
And then they got to play against Bayern and pick the ball out of the net 10 times against Bayern Munich, right?
And then they got to play against Boca and get the draw that earned their club another $1 million. I mean, that's going to keep that club solvent for a long time. The community will feel the benefit of that for ages. They had a phys ed teacher scored that goal. I mean, he's a teacher at a grammar school,
and he's going to go back and his students.
He's the coach of the youth soccer team locally in the community. That's fantastic. And he scored a goal against Boca. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, that's magic. You don't get to have those moments, outside of something like this. And so for them, sure, they're the big fish in Oceania, but they proved just how small fry they were in the global stage, but
they really did.
Didn't dampen their enthusiasm, and it didn't stop them from playing out their guts every single game. Kudos to them.
That's true, indeed. Yeah. In terms of standout players for you, obviously there's the big stars, but some of the ones as well. I know you had, as I say, a really good analysis on some of the articles that you have been posting recently, but. Yeah, for me,
again, I mean, I hate to say it, but if Nathan Garrow from Auckland City does not get a professional contract after what he did in the 2 games that he played, the world is messed up, because that guy absolutely overperformed by every metric that goalkeepers have. He outperformed everybody. More saves per game, more everything, and that's he stood out for me. I thought Bono from Al Hilal was an amazing.
He was fantastic.
He just was fantastic, right?
Yeah, Bono was fantastic, and he's Algerian, I believe, as well. So he'll be seeing
no. He is Moroccan. He is
even
Moroccan.
Better. Yeah,
born and raised in Canada, but he plays nationally for Morocco.
Yes, of course. Manu Vethart, our sort of Bundesliga podcasting friend, mentioned this.
He educated us there.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of people who came off the radar for me. And also, Ulsan's Hyung-Moon Jo also had an amazing time in between the posts. Most people didn't pay attention to Ulsan, but when you look at the stats, you go, why is this? Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, that was remarkable, right? So that was pretty incredible. Of course, there were some other standouts as well. And I'm starting with goalkeepers just because it's and that would be the young guy, Christian Zawashinsky from Red Bull Salzburg. So Red Bull put in a 18-year-old goalkeeper, 18 years old. They put him in for all 3 games. And mind you, Red Bull Salzburg didn't do particularly well, but holy crap, what a move that is, right? I mean, goalkeepers tend to be old.
Yeah.
Nathan Garrow's 20, Zawinski's 18, and then the next two were Trubin from Benfica, who also performed incredibly, and
He was
Jorgensen from
very
Chelsea.
good.
They put him in for one game, right?
One
Okay,
game,
fine.
yeah. I agree. Trubin
was
as well.
remarkable.
He was fantastic. I think he's only like 22 or so. He's a young.
He's 23.
Ukrainian.
He's 23. He's 23.
23 Ukrainian as well, isn't he? I think as well. He's going to get a move as well, definitely as well. I know also that's kind of
He'll be looked
anyway,
at. He'll be looked at. Yeah,
Benfica's
absolutely.
model. Yeah, for sure. And then in terms of, I agree also. And then who is the Fluminense goalkeeper as well? Isn't he like 44
Fabio.
Years of age as well? Yeah, Fabio,
44 years old. Fabio.
Yeah, Fabio, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. That was wonderful to see. He is older than me and still competing as well, which is wonderful. So he was good. I don't think he's going to get a move, but he definitely did cover himself.
No, he won't.
Bono
get a
was
move,
the standout, but I think
at 44, at 44, you don't get moves.
You don't get a move. Yeah,
the only move you get is to the old folks' home. But
you get sort of there. But Trubin, I think probably sort of in terms of goalkeepers, will probably get the move and get it recognized.
I think he will get an offer. I think Garrow should get an offer. I don't know about this Zawinski guy, but because he's still too young, he might, but I doubt it. Yeah. Now, looking at defenders, this was interesting. I mean, I picked Thiago Silva for a number of reasons, and one, age, right? Yeah. I mean, he's 40. Come on. I mean, that's just he's 40. Yeah. He played 450 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's oldest outfield. Just unpack that for a second.
And he was the oldest outfield player of the tournament. Is that correct?
Yes, he was. He was the oldest player in the tournament, not between the sticks. Played 450 minutes, right? Made over 30 clearances. Only committed 2 fouls. 2. Yeah. That's it. How solid do you have to be, right? I mean, you've got to be confident as all hell, and brought his team right up into the semis. Yeah. I mean, that's an incredible achievement. And then you were talking about it, and I finally buckled down and I went and I looked at it, and yeah, you're right. His inspirational speech pregame was amazing. So kudos.
It was good. Yeah.
It was really amazing. Truly. I'm not being sarcastic. Wow.
I saw you put it at the end of the article, so thank you for that.
I did put it at the end of the article because it was it was freaking genius, and
it was fantastic.
You don't need subtitles. Listen to it in Portuguese, and don't bother with subtitles. Feel it. Yeah, feel it, people.
It was there. Yeah, what a leader, what a guy, and absolutely fantastic. It really was. Yeah. So, and then any other defenders as well in terms of young defenders that you think could possibly get moves? Because unfortunately, I think
I didn't analyze I didn't analyze them by youth, but I was doing defenders just more along the lines of what they achieved, right? So I had a shame list for defenders. All the defenders got red cards. That was fun.
Yeah.
Because there were a number of them.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I say defenders, I am including midfielders in that because there are
defensive midfielders.
That's something that happens, right? There are the defenders that committed penalties. That was fun too.
Yeah.
So nobody from that group is going to necessarily get called out. Although interestingly enough, Malo Gusto did commit a penalty earlier on in the tournament, but
he did. Yeah.
No, and in terms of defenders, the ones that really stood out, again, he did not have a great game today, but Akram Hakimi is a freaking marvel.
My God, he is incredible. He is incredible.
He is such an odd duck. I mean, when you look at all the players, that guy is so anomalous. He's a defender that doesn't defend. He played 520 minutes before today's game, where he played all 90. That's 610 minutes he played. Right.
And he scored or assisted in every game. Yeah, scored and assisted in every game.
Twice, and he assisted twice. And I'm like, that's nutball.
He's special.
I mean, that is absolutely amazing.
Another Moroccan as well, which I know Morocco got to the World Cup semi-finals, which also is just to watch out for that. Yeah, with Bono in the sticks as well on the Moroccan side, right? It's
if you remember, that Moroccan team that made it that far in the last World Cup all got signed. Right. That was like the best advertisement for Moroccan football that could have ever happened anywhere, because they all went on, if they weren't already with a big club, and many of them were, they all moved off into even bigger clubs after that, because people are like, wow, that's pretty cool.
These guys are good.
Other defenders that stood out, Kalidou Koulibaly from Al Hilal. He's not getting a move because he's already
No,
in his 30s.
he's got his move already. That was the move.
He's
Yeah,
got his
already.
move.
Yeah.
He's going to be happy. He'll be happy to play in Al Hilal till it's over. But wow, so good. So good.
Statistically, yeah.
No, again, statistically. In terms of young defenders, I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head that jumped out and saying, "Oh my God, you got to go and sign that guy."
Yeah.
No,
I
they're
thought
all pretty solid.
is it Fran Garcia as well at Real? I know he's one of the younger guys as well, and also the Real Madrid
Sure,
defense
but
looked
you
pretty
don't
good. But
leave
they're already
Real.
there. Yeah, they're not getting
You don't
loose.
leave
But in terms
Real.
of young players
No.
that went out, I thought they were pretty good.
Hercules.
Okay.
Hercules out of Fluminense
Yes.
is somebody I think that will get plucked out of there pretty quickly. He's super young. He was a big impact player, came on, did the business, right? Also defends. So, solid box to box midfielder with some danger up front. I think he's a very, very strong candidate to get plucked.
24 years of age as well. Yeah, no, he's a sort of box-to-box midfielder. Okay, and then in terms of attacking players, before you go into the statistics as well, and I don't know if you even covered this in your statistics, but I will say I know they didn't necessarily get through the group phases, and so maybe again the statistics will sort of cover it. Is that Porto midfielder Pedro Moro, that sort of attacking midfielder? If you remember him,
he did not make it through the metrics. He did not
get the
make
stats
it
as
through
well.
the metric thing. But you are right to call him out. Yes,
he looked very good. And he's only 18. And again, he's probably not. I think I remember Michael from the Benfica podcast was telling us that he's just signed a new contract and there's an 18 million clause, so it doesn't make sense. Let him build himself up a little bit. I do say he was the one young player who did impress me the most that I was not aware of and has definitely been on my radar.
And I think Gonzalo Garcia also sort of exploded into everybody's radar.
Yeah.
But of course, he's already at Real Madrid. So where do you go from there?
He's a youth player as well. But keeping Rodrigo out and and definitely sort of being sort of Xabi Alonso's sort of first choice there for sure is definitely worth it for sure. Okay.
I'm trying to think of some others, right? That kind of jumped out at me. I do think that, and I have heard rumors already to the effect of Wessam Abu Ali, who is the Palestinian striker for Al Ahly, the only player to record a hat trick in the tournament, right? I have heard a rumor that he's coming to the United States.
Possible. Yep, I can see that.
There is a rumor going around that one of the MLS clubs is in negotiations to try and get him.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard though, because I mean he's competing with that because he's at Al Hilal. Did you say, is that right? He's
Al Ahly.
Al Ahly. Okay, so the Egyptian,
Egyptian,
right, in Cairo. Please. So they don't have the oil money. So yeah, that'll be possible. Yeah,
no, I mean they're one of the best funded clubs in Africa, but that's Africa. I'm sorry, but no,
dollars versus Egyptian pounds is a different story, right?
Absolutely, 100%, right?
The other striker,
I would say, if you're really looking at players that are going to be likely candidates, you'd want to really go in and study all of the African and the Asian teams and see who who overperformed there, because those are all going to be great candidates to come in. So yeah.
Yeah, I did really like that Dortmund striker. What was his name? Al Girassi. So I think he's a Ghanaian. I think he's
Serhou Guirassy. Yeah,
Girassi. Yeah, he was fantastic. I know, didn't he score 4 goals as well? Look good.
Boy, did he miss shots. Jesus.
He missed a lot as well. He got into positions, but he also scored as well. Yeah, he did.
So many.
It was, Girassi also joint top goal scorer with 4 as well. Did, as you say, missed 7 big chances, looking at statistics as well, going off there as well. But again, I think he's like 29, 30 years of age. So again, I don't think he gets he's not sort of like the young up and comer as well. Am I correct in thinking Igor Jesus, he got signed by Nottingham Forest? That deal was done, or that sort of got announced, I think, or it's
believe
close to, because
it's close, but I don't know whether it's over the line.
Yeah, that was Girassi was good. And then the other one that really got on my radar as well was Kenan Yildiz. That's PSG. Sorry, not PSG. That Juventus. Juventus. I think he's Turkish, German Turkish. 20 years of age. He does look very, very good.
I think he's fantastic. But again, you're at Juventus. there's not a lot of. I mean, Juventus is not the top of the pyramid, right? So I don't want to.
Not where they used to be, but yeah, they're up there. Yeah, but it's going to.
They're up there. They're up there. It will take a lot to pry you out of Juventus. And for example, like he may make a move to a Bayern, right? Like a Bayern, I could see a move like that. I don't think he would necessarily go into a Premier League, not right away.
Yeah,
he needs to get a little older.
A few more
years, but unless people were really trying to build up, and all the big clubs already have their mitts and their hooks in all of the players, right? So there's not a lot of space left for him to maneuver in there. So no, I'd say that he's probably Juventus. He's going to be stuck in Juventus for quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then the other big one as well coming into it, which I have to say did underwhelmed a little bit, was Estevao. He was the one I was most looking forward to seeing again with the Chelsea hat on, and expecting
I don't think he had a great tournament.
I don't think he had a great tournament either as well. You could see he's a little bit young. He's a little bit light. He's sort of. I don't think he's ready.
And I don't know if you heard this, but it's already confirmed that you will never see Chelsea blue this year. They've already moved him over. They've already moved him to Strasbourg. Yeah, he's already in Strasbourg.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that happening? Yeah, that makes complete sense, and I think that's the right decision for him. It's too early. It's too soon.
No, they're like, hey, don't even get your visa stamped when you come into London. Just get a tourist visa. We'll take you around the sites, and then you're off to Strasbourg.
Wow, there we go for that thing. Yeah,
okay. I think that's a pretty strong.
No, I can believe that. Wonderful. Well, Qooligan, I think that brings us up on time. This is now, the end of episode 19. It's been fun.
Wow, 19.
Strapping into the chair with you, all the sort of the preamble stuff, and then obviously the daily stuff during the group phases, and then locking it in. It's been, we've been bouncing around. You went to one game, I believe, or two games?
I did go to one game because I just couldn't be bothered to drive the 3 hours to Charlotte to go sit in the sun at 98 degrees.
Well,
Nope.
Sweating in MetLife Stadium as well for the semis was an experience for sure as well. But it's been a wonderful experience. So, Qooligan, I think we'll sign off there. End of this series. Okay. As always, hooligan-soccer.com. We'll pick up the other show, the Hooligan Soccer Podcast, as well, and some other shows as well.
We start tomorrow. Yeah, we're picking back up with that pod. That'll be fun.
Women's Euros, fun again.
Women's Euros.
Anyway, indeed, wonderful. Qooligan, as always, thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
Peace, Garrett. Yeah.